Well, yeah, my enthusiasm right now is for Lightning development. I really think the most exciting thing going on in the world of technology is the Lightning protocol. The ability to move Bitcoin, at the speed of light, friction-free, uh, no transaction or de minimis transaction cost. And the appeal of Lightning is not just that you could scale up Bitcoin to billions of people, and it's not just that you can drive the transaction cost to near nothing, but also the ethos of Bitcoin is go very carefully and don't move fast on the base layer without universal consensus. But in Lightning, you can move much more aggressively, developing functionality, and you can take more risks with the Lightning protocol, and you can take more risks with the applications that are on top of Lightning, and build more functionality and build more performance than you can in the underlying Bitcoin layer.
Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, Chairman of MicroStrategy Michael Saylor updates about the development and advantages of Bitcoin's Lightning Network, his thoughts about Bitcoin maximalists, and how Bitcoin adoption can revolutionize our economy and improve our financial standings. Make sure to stick around till the end of this video where Michael Saylor talks about exciting events coming next in the Bitcoin space.
When we first embraced Bitcoin, it was a defensive strategy. We were trying to avoid getting destroyed by the inflation that was coming. And we realized that we couldn't just sit with $500 million of cash on the balance sheet. So the first view was, how do we avoid having our treasury assets melt away in a market that's just getting increasingly difficult and hostile? I think that the second stage was opportunistic. Bitcoin's an extraordinary opportunity, and we can increase the size of our balance sheet, and we can do some interesting things like issue convertible debt in order to acquire Bitcoin, and we can build up an interesting business that we didn't really know was there before. I think the third stage is really strategic, right? The Bitcoin strategy. We're going to acquire and hold Bitcoin, consistently, aggressively, whenever we see an opportunity that makes sense for the shareholders. So that's the corporate evolution. I would say, from a personal philosophical point of view, I started looking for a better gold than gold, a digital gold, a store of value. And I would say that's like, I describe different types of investors. You've got the deniers, people don't believe that Bitcoin is real. You've got the skeptics, people that, just don't think it's going to work. They think the government's going to ban it. And then you've got the traders who think it's an uncorrelated asset or it's a correlated asset. I would say I came in as a trader. This is an uncorrelated asset, and it doesn't make sense to invest the company's treasuries in the stock market, or invest the company's treasuries in art collections, or invest the company in real estate. So here's an asset that it makes sense to invest in. I think that's stage 3. Stage 4 is to be a technocrat. That's when you say, oh, this is a digital monetary asset, and it's a digital monetary network. And I can use it to move money on a Saturday morning. How do you move $100 million on a Saturday morning from London to Tokyo, right? How do I put money on an iPhone or an Android phone? And so when you become a technocrat, you start to see it as a monetary network, just like Google's an information network, or YouTube is an entertainment network, or Facebook is a social network. And so I think I kind of evolved from the trader mentality to the technocrat mentality.
Michael Saylor also talked about what his firm is doing to help with the enterprise adoption of Bitcoin's Lightning Network. It is worth remembering that on 11 August 2020, MicroStrategy announced via a press release that it had purchased 21,454 Bitcoins at an aggregate purchase price of $250 million to use as a primary treasury reserve asset. Michael Saylor said, "Our decision to invest in Bitcoin at this time was driven in part by a confluence of macro factors affecting the economic and business landscape that we believe is creating long-term risks for our corporate treasury program, risks that should be addressed proactively."
But if you spend enough time on Bitcoin, eventually you find your way to stage 5. And stage 5 is Bitcoin maximalist. And I define Bitcoin maximalist as someone that thinks that Bitcoin is an instrument of economic empowerment. I mean, I think Jack Dorsey stated that most eloquently and first. He said, Bitcoin is an instrument of economic empowerment. So it's not that far. You know, once you say it's a digital asset that runs on a smartphone, the very next thing that follows is, wow, I can give a bank to 8 billion people and I can give property rights to 8 billion people. All they got to have is a $50 Android phone and download an app. It'll take about 60 seconds. So I think that when you're a technocrat, you start saying, well, you know, YouTube is entertainment for free to the world, and you know, Facebook is what it is. It's the friend network, and Twitter is that speech network, and you get kind of interested in those companies, Twitter and Facebook and Google and Apple. But you also go through this process where you say, well, do I trust Google more than I trust Alibaba? And do I trust WeChat or Tencent more than I trust Twitter? Do I trust any of these companies because they're run by individuals and they're subject to nation state capture, and maybe they'll be censored, and maybe there's a limit to what they can put on their platform, and maybe if you put the wrong thing on the platform, it'll get ripped off the platform. And so it's hard to have a philosophical, ideological commitment to a company that has a digital network.
Bitcoin traded below $19,000 on Wednesday morning, hitting its lowest level since June following a drop in stock markets globally and the continued strength of the US dollar. The value of the entire cryptocurrency market also fell below $1 trillion as digital coins across the board saw a sell-off. Bitcoin was trading around $18,812.36, down more than 5%, according to CoinDesk.
Back in like August of 2020, the company had an enterprise value of approximately $660 million and didn't really have any active investments. And now the enterprise value of the company has ballooned by a factor of not quite 10, but many, many, many billions of dollars. And we have a much more sophisticated balance sheet where we have convertible debt, and we have senior secured debt, and we have a Bitcoin-backed loan, and we have other financing opportunities and activities. So it makes sense to have a CFO that's full-time and dedicated. And Fong really couldn't be that dedicated CFO because he was also serving as the president of the company. So what we've done is, I think, matured as a business, and it allows us to move forward and more aggressively pursue the software business as well as more aggressively pursue the Bitcoin strategy.
The crypto market has been battered this year, with nearly $2 trillion wiped off its value since its peak in November. Bitcoin is about 60% off its record high of $68,990.90 that was hit in November. The sell-off has been caused by a tough environment for risk assets as well as crypto-specific issues, including collapsed projects and bankruptcies that has spread across the industry.
And so I would say now, I view my role as maximalist, what I want. And I don't get caught up in all the other definitions of maximalist and what do people think that means. If you believe that Bitcoin is a technology to give property rights to 8 billion people, and if you believe that property rights are a good thing and freedom is a good thing and sovereignty is a good thing, then you're a maximalist, and now you're just going to try to figure out how to spread the network to as many people as possible in any way possible.
So do you agree with Michael Saylor's definition of a Bitcoin maximalist? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.